athletes, what's going on? Happy Wednesday. Branch Brown here, physical therapist and wellness coach. Get your fixed physical therapy, get your fixed nutrition, CrossFit coach, and running coach. And I help you athletes to hit your PRs, improve your performance through nutrition and through proper training. So I have a new exciting series for you guys. I'm going to share with you my story, my process, my system. Basically, it's what I use. It's what I use with my clients. It's what I've created in an amazing new product that I have. But I just want to share with you my story, essentially. Give you the ins and outs of what I did to reform my training, essentially, through nutrition. So this all started a couple years ago. Had just kind of hit a plateau, wanted to see about what I could do to improve, started to experiment on myself, use nutrition to do so. So first and foremost, what I realized and what I tell a lot of people to begin with is we need to know what your habits are. This comes in the form of training habits, lifestyle habits, food habits. And first and foremost, when it comes to nutrition, or when we're talking about nutrition, it's food habits, but that lifestyle plays a huge role into it. So what do when I talk about habits though, I'm talking about, let's figure out how your body responds to different things. Figure out what makes it perform better, what makes it sluggish, what makes you not feel good. So how do you do this? Essentially, you need to start tracking things. You need to start figuring out what you do that you don't even realize you do. So many things we put into our bodies, so many things we do on a day-to-day basis, we don't even realize we do just because it's so ingrained in us, it's so part of us. So first and foremost, you need to track your habits. You need to start figuring out what you're doing and how it's affecting you. So what I would suggest is if you're already training, you're already tracking your workouts in some way, most likely. Regardless of what sport you're in, regardless of how intense you're training, you're likely tracking your workouts already. So let's just start adding to this log and start doing our food as well. By figuring out patterns of like you take in these foods and the next day or 2 days later you feel sluggish. Let's start figuring out those patterns. You can start figuring out the patterns too as far as you eat these foods and you feel amazing, you perform amazing, awesome. But so once you start really writing these things down or using a food log and start assessing how you felt at workouts as well and writing that down, it really helps to start putting patterns together of what foods help with your training, what foods inhibit your training, and it can give you an idea of maybe we need to eliminate some, maybe you want to start cutting things out, or maybe there's things that you just have on your cheat days, on days that you aren't training, on, just on like celebration event times, that sort of thing. So it's something to think about. If you really want to start improving your performance, is grazing good? I think it is. I'll get to that here in a second. Actually, I'll get to it now. Is grazing good? It depends on the person. I personally just kind of eat steadily throughout the day. I know there's a lot of research to show downsides to that, but for me, it's what really works and it's what helps. But I also know people who do really well with intermittent fasting and fast for 16 hours and eat for 8 hours. Some people do really well with 3 meals. So it kind of depends on what works for your body and what works around your training schedule. For me, because of when I train, intermittent fasting isn't the ideal method. But for someone who trains maybe midday or later in the day, intermittent fasting works really well. With grazing, for me, I know I need a lot of calories in during my day for the amount of training I do. So for me, just eating steadily here and there throughout the day works out really well because I don't want to eat that much food at one time. So kind of play with it, play with your lifestyle, figure out what works for you and go with that. Great question, David. So yeah, when it comes to habits, just start figuring out what works for you, what doesn't work for you, and then you can start playing with that as it relates to your performance. So Hope that makes sense to you guys. If it doesn't, definitely comment on here. I answer or help with any questions that I can. And if you track your own habits, if you know certain things that you do already that work for you, that don't work for you, I'd love to hear about it. So definitely throw that on here as well. Just give me a little feedback as far as what habits you have. So hope you're having an amazing Wednesday, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.